social media platforms on this 4th day of February 2026. My name is Simba Elijah Charles Kiage. The hashtag is The Morning Drift. There's so much that we're going to talk about this morning. But before we jump into those major issues, I'll take you to what we're going to talk about this morning, what our topic is going to be. For every young Kenyan who's listening, I do hope that today, as we open this 4th of February, you have already picked your voter's card. That's my hope. My sincere hope is that as we get into the elections next year, you already have your voter's card, you've verified your details, and you're ready to vote. Because the question has always been, in a country where 70% of the population is made up of young people, that we have a chance to dictate the direction of local politics. But that seldom happens because in one way or another, for a couple of reasons, we do not vote, number one, or we do not register to vote. In the 2022 general elections, there were 22 million Kenyans who were registered and ready to vote. Out of those, 14 million Kenyans went out to vote. But if you look at the numbers of adults versus young people in the country, only just but 8 million people below the age of 45, sorry, I should rectify that, at the age of 45 years and below, registered as Kenyan voters. But then, if you look at those ratios, 8 million versus 14 million adults, and then you look at the numbers of Kenyans who voted, which was 14 million, then you're right to say that slightly then above 3 million young Kenyans went out to vote. In a population of 58 million, 70% of that is a very big number. You would have expected that that number probably would have been 14 million young people registered to vote and then 8 million adults in this country. But no, the numbers do not reflect that on the ground. So the question we're asking this morning is, where do the Kenyan youth stand? Are they in the one-term conversation? Are they in the two-term conversation? We've seen a lot of leaders come out to use different ways to woo young people to vote for them come 2027. We've seen the mechanisms that the government is using to make sure that the young people in this country feel counted, feel part and parcel of the decisions that the government is making. Do you believe that indeed the leaders are doing enough to talk to you as a young person in this country to vote for them? That's the question that we're asking this morning. You can talk to us at Look Up TV across all your social media platforms. My name is Simba Elijah Charles Kiage. The hashtag is The Morning Drift. Our WhatsApp lines are right there on your screen. So as we go on with our broadcast this morning, you can also speak to us so that we can get to have a wholesome conversation. I'll be introducing some youth leaders who are coming to the studio this morning so that we can have that conversation. Let's get the answer. Why do you stand as a Kenyan youth? Is it in the one-term conversation? Is it in the two-term conversation? As usual, let's see exactly what you're waking up to this morning in your dailies. And we're going to begin with the Daily Nation. Let's see exactly what the Daily Nation is talking about. How IEBC boasts faked results. We do know now that IEBC CEO, that is Marjan Hussein, whose 5-year contract was due to lapse in March next year with an option for renewal, left office prematurely last night following a crisis meeting of commissioners. Question is the handling of the 2027 poll preparations behind his abrupt departure. Story has been covered on page 4 and 5 of the Daily Nation, and that's exactly what we're also going to see a majority of Kenyans talking about it this morning in your trends. It's quite a questionable exit. There are some leaders who've spoken about it. We're going to play for you a couple of those videos this morning so that we can get to see what majority of leaders think about the resignation or the exit thereof of IEBC boss Marjan Hussein Marjan. Just 1 year into the general elections, you would have thought that it would have really been in office to fight for the preparation of the elections, but as things stand, it doesn't look like it anymore. But the revolving door they're talking about here is how 2 previous chief executives of the Electoral Commission were also fired. So going in that same direction. And another story here that you're going to wake up to this morning is how developers are making millions from cheated home buyers. Hundreds of Kenyans, particularly those living abroad, are paying millions of shillings to real estate developers hoping to secure their dream homes or grow their investments, only to end with empty thickets and protracted legal battles. That story has been covered on page 7 on your investment news today this morning. A lot of developers who've been here marked here. George Muru, owner Mizizi Africa Homes Limited. There's Egidio Kinyanjui, managing director, Wilston Homes Limited. There's Patrick Thuo here, director, Wilston Homes Limited. There's Victor Musia, director, Wilston Homes Limited. There's David Kanyi, owner, Kenya Projects. Some of those who've been earmarked as those whose diaspora development projects here locally have not seen the light of the day. Some of these gentlemen, I've spoken with them right here in the studio. It's supposed to show you that before you get into putting your money into these investments, then you gotta know the track record of this gentleman that you give your money. That story has been covered on page 7. Page 3 is a story here on the day CBK rained on Valentine Lovers Parade. Now florists were cashing in on money bouquets until the central bank rained on their parade. CBK has warned twisting the notes is an offense that risks jail. A story has been covered on page 3. Yeah, as we're making money bouquets across the country. There was a trend. On a 5,000 unatafuta manoti ya 500 unatengeza bouquet. Wapenda now. It's 10 days to come, isn't it? So please, you risk jail if you go this direction for money bouquets. Yeah. Story here on shortage of condoms and birth control pills hits public hospitals. There's 6 months after the donor funding dried up. The country's family planning system is in free fall with contraceptives unavailable, and women are paying the price. The story has been covered on page 8 of the Daily Nation this morning. Good. Let's cross over then to the Standard. Also see what we have for you here on the Standard this morning. Here we go. Uhuru revives Azimio. That's the big headline here. Leaders in a dramatic meeting, former President Uhuru Kenyatta jolted the Azimio coalition with a sweeping leadership changes, sidelining minority leader Junet Mohammed and elevating Wiper leader Kalonzo Musyoka. The move signals a re-energized coalition, tightening ranks ahead of next year's elections. Observers now say that the shake-up marks Uhuru's return to frontline politics, laying the groundwork for a high-stake showdown with President William Ruto. That story has been covered on page 4 of the Standard, and this is what's going to form the back end of our conversations this morning. I mean, as political alliances are realigning themselves in the country ahead of the 2027 general polls, you can see 2 sides are clearly coming up. There's the side that is trying to align itself with UDA. There's also the side that is trying to fight, UDA. That's one-term versus two-term conversation. This is some of the questions that we're going to ask you this morning. As a youth, with these political realignments in the country, where do you find yourself? Even those youth who are aligned to the ODM coalition, where do you stand? Do you stand in a one-term conversation or a two-term conversation? With your SG speaking heavily yesterday night in an interview at a Citizen TV yesterday night, saying it's time for young leadership in the country. He's never going to stand for any conversation about supporting William Ruto for a second term in this country. Interesting times ahead, and that's exactly what we have for you this morning. Good. So let's look at a couple of trending issues this morning. There's a lot, and I'm just going to pick a couple of them so that we go through them with you this morning, so that we know exactly where we stand this morning. I'm going to start with one here. There's a musician right here, all the way from Kitui, who's walked 170 kilometers to the CBD to give a letter to one President, Dr. William Ruto, to petition him to declare cancer as a national disaster in the country. I'll show you his pictures right here. His name is B.S. Kaviru, who's walking 170 kilometers to petition the president. There he is. And this is the letter that he presented to the President of the Republic of Kenya, Dr. William Samoei Ruto. Let me just read a couple of sentiments here from Kenyans who watched that musician right there walk those 170 kilometers. Let me just read a couple of them. One response that I have is one from Washika, who's saying, after declaring it a national disaster, what follows? I mean, Washika, you do know. And what the president, once he declares it a national disaster, then Parliament will be forced to sit down and come up with ways to address that disaster. It's like if we declare floods a national disaster, we gotta go back to Parliament and talk about it. That's essentially what follows. Presidential declarations on health. This is a genuine GA who's saying presidential declarations on health are based on intensive recommendations from addicts, but not from actors. I urge Kaviru to change the tune and ask the president to declare hunger as a national disaster as he briefs him on cancer. Well, cancer is a national disaster. Genuine. All right. Lead blood who's saying zile safari zinaandaliwa sasa, it'll be a menace. Yeah, and we did see how Kenyans went to the tree hugging movement. This is what Lil Bud is saying. Zile safari zinaandaliwa sasa. It's going to be a menace. All right. Masi Mwendo who's saying this is what we need. Cancer has claimed many lives. It's expensive to get treatment, not tree hugging without impacts to society. See, I didn't even go very far. And Kenyans have already pointed out to the tree hugging episode that we got to see after Mudhoni. We started it in the country. I'm going to leave you there, crossover to another trending issue this morning, which is essentially, I have to say, it's about Arsenal. I mean, Kenyans, I didn't want to wake up this morning and talk about Arsenal, because we had a small matter yesterday at 11 p.m. We're playing a small team called Chelsea, who thought after 10 years of not beating, after 8 years of not beating Arsenal at the Emirates, that they will come in and get a scoreline. Yeah, this is an iconic picture. Every Chelsea fan should drink their tears this morning. I mean, this is a former Chelsea player. Havertz walks into that Chelsea team any day, anytime. I will tell you that. Yeah, I mean, I don't understand why we have to talk about this morning. The only team that has managed to beat Arsenal at the Emirates is one team. It's Man United. They were a bit lucky as well. Yeah, to get that win. So I don't understand why Chelsea would think that they will come to the Emirates and beat Arsenal. Really? I mean, wake up. We are Arsenal. We're going for 4 cups this season. Champions League, Premier League, leading Champions League, leading into the finals, you know, and FA, we are the leading also in terms of winning it more times. Guys, you're a small club. Please don't try that again. Hopefully, we're going to play for you a couple of videos for those who didn't watch, because we do know that game ended at 1:30 a.m. this morning. I'll be telling you exactly how it went down. All right, move away from there and talk about another issue this morning. It's about the resignation of one Hassan Marjan, the CEO of EBC. I'll not go into the videos that we have for you this morning. I'm just going to read some of the comments that have come in this morning on the resignation of one Marjan, and I will just go into some of the comments just quickly before we look at other issues this morning. Here it is. It's among the top trending issues. I will not be going into this particular clip. I'll be telling you why I will not be going into it, because these are some of the leaders who are really talking about his resignation. But I will directly go into some of the communique that we did get. Let me just tell you what the press statement was saying. This is EBC, exit of the CEO, Commission Secretary as well. I will just read for you the introduction to this letter. It's talking about the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, IEBC, today announces the formal exit of its Chief Executive Officer, CEO, and Commission Secretary, Mr. Hussein Marjan, after reaching an agreement to terminate his services by mutual consent. This, in effect, brings to an end his tenure and marks the beginning of recruiting a new CEO and Secretary to the Commission. And by the way, this is just 1 year to the general election in the country. All right, this is how they ended. The Commission takes this opportunity to appreciate the work of Mr. Marjan, who was a committed servant and offered his professional services and leadership to IEBC since March 2022, when he was appointed as CEO. All right, and Commission Secretary would particularly thank him for steering the Commission Secretariat during the period of absence to the commissioners until when the current commission was fully constituted on 11th July 2025. All right, good. Just a couple of responses then from Kenyans here. While others cling to office with bloodstained hands, this man, Mr. Marjan Hussein, walked away with his soul intact. While politicians shout about God in rallies, he actually acted like someone who believes in divine judgment. All right, read another comment here. Just every other person breaking this news about his resignation. Let me just keep on, just look for one more. Kenya's just breaking this news. Every other person is just breaking this news. I've not seen any sentiment that is coming. This is Naomi Wadira Hussein Marjan resigns as EBC CEO. He sees a red sign ahead. Yeah, that's what he's saying. I can't see majority of sentiments from Kenyans. Kenyans were just breaking news on his resignation. Good. Now let's cross over to another trending issue this morning, and I gotta play for you this, and this is for all the Chelsea fans who were sleeping yesterday night. If you've not seen the highlights, I know the game ended around 1:30. You didn't probably get to see the action from the Emirates Stadium, where you've never won for such a very, very long time. I do not know where we have it this morning, just so that we can run those highlights for them and show them exactly what happened yesterday night. Do we have it? You can confirm. If you don't, I'll jump into the next issue this morning, and that will be quite unfortunate. All right. Other than that, then let's cross over to the last issue that we have for you this morning, and I'll be showing you a video that speaks to the unruly behavior of our road users in this country. It shows how matatus with border borders alike in this country use the road how they want it, when they want it, whichever way they feel that they would use it. And this essentially comes from a road user who recorded this misbehavior was, I think it was in the course of last week, at a time when every other Kenyan was talking about the Matatu strike, and they were striking about how border operators in this country are misusing the road. Now, let's watch it together. I will talk you over it because I don't want us to use the audio that is coming from this clip. I'll talk to you over it so that we get to watch it together. You can see this is a Matatu that is overtaking into oncoming traffic, and you can see exactly, I mean, there's so many ways, there's so many ways of analyzing it. Look at exactly what happens immediately. We get the slightest inconvenience on the road. Now, guys are driving on the walkway. There's another vehicle that has gone on the walkway, not essentially waiting for this situation to clear. So, if I was to talk to Kenyan today, this guy, the other guys over the other side as well, who were picking passengers on the road, and all the guys who've driven on the walkway, they are all supposed to be arrested and retested. You know, because I don't understand what this is. And you can see this driver unapologetically, again, yeah, belongs to Raj Safaris Limited. And you can see the passengers as well, you know. So you're just going swiftly about your work and driving on the road, and this is exactly what you walk into. I do not understand when we as Kenyans are going to learn who brings on these presidents. I do not know, because this guy is rightly within his right to use the road. And then they didn't even apologize. The driver didn't even get out of the vehicle to come and see the damage is caused. No. Immediately, you can see where it started from. Passengers are getting picked and dropped right in the middle of the road. And then immediately, borders going to the walkway, you know, taxis now, the Vits. I bleed for my country. Let me just read a couple of reactions here. You Nduthi guys are saying, this is the Kenyans who are also fighting online about what they've watched from this video. You Nduthi guys are saying you didn't see those two Nduthi guys following the bus. Anyway, Matatus are driven by foolish goons, and Nduthi guys are stupid goons. They are more or less the same, only that one drives a more complex machine that can cause maximum damage and casualties, and the other can cause multiple accidents when it crosses the road like a pedestrian. Stupid people. That is Gichuhi Njogu. Alright? Ni mara ngapi mmecause accident mkiwa wrong side, especially Mombasa Road and Outer Ring? This is Alexander Mbugwa asking this question. Alright? This is what they're saying. The car was taken to current police station na sako wakalipa mwenye gari hakuchoma kitu, hakuchoma hiyo gari. You know, this is Uncle Ken who's saying, well, when such happens, then we should be resorting to planning vehicles on the road. As it, we continue. And where is the lie? What one do they need? I'm not going to read this on air this morning. And you can also see other videos that are coming from Kenyans are watching it. I'm right here watching a clip of Matatu completely on the wrong side. And Kenyans are saying, NTSA, please tame these people. That's what it is then. And that's exactly what it is that you're waking up to this morning. Chelsea fans really didn't want to talk about your issues this morning, but it forces us to talk about them this morning. I mean, we can't help it. I'm really sorry, right? This morning then, I want us to take a step out of the trending issues this morning. What we're going to talk about specifically is a conversation that has gotten majority of politicians speaking to the Kenyan youth across the country. Everything around from what is going across the country now looks as if it's geared towards wooing the Kenyan youth to the ballot. The question being, where do you belong in this one-term versus two-term conversation as a Kenyan youth? Talk to us and Look Up TV across all your social media platforms. The hashtag is The Morning Drift. Once we come back, I'll be introducing to you the gentlemen who are joining us for this conversation. Can we get a ground? Where should we go with all these factions that are developing across the country? Once we come back right here on The Morning Drift, my name is Simba. See you on the other side of this little tiny brother. Good morning.
Taarifa zinapochipuka na kutufikia papa hapa kwenye makao makuu ya chumba cha habari cha runinga ya Lookup, kwenye taifa, kwenye serikali, kwenye bunge, tunajitosa hadi kwenye sauti ya wenyeji ili kupata tu maoni ya wenyeji kuhusu masuala haya yanayochipuka.
Maana hii kitu inaenda kuumiza Mkenya kwa tax.
Hakuna kitu tunafurahia. Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Sisi tunaumia, si ati tunaumia ile ya kiukweli. Juu maisha ni ngumu.
Na bila shaka tunapata maoni yao ili sauti yao ipate kusikika. Na watasema hili, waseme lile, watasema hiki na waseme kile, almuradi sauti yao ipate taa.
Mambo ya mafuta tena imekuwa ni changamoto zaidi kwa kila mtu wa bodaboda.
Uchumi ikikuwa stable, tunaamini mambo itakuwa sawa sawa.
Kwanza liko na ria wasa wa boda, mama mboga nini. Hawa sasa ndio wamefinywa zaidi mazuri.
Mpenzi mtazamaji, hii ni bunge la wenyeji.
I recall the doctor telling me that day, he said, "Sarah, I'm sorry about what happened to you, but you see, life happens. You would have to learn to work with your hands, depend on your hands more."
And today, if you're going through anything that you do not understand, just call on this name, Jesus, and he will save you.
I realized I loved music when I was about 7 or 8. I used to puff my cheeks and play the 12-bar blues. Like I'd walk around the house doing like...
Why do we need the Holy Spirit?
I mean, if you look at what Jesus said when he was leaving, he said he is going and that he will send the Holy Spirit as our helper.
So God knows everything since the end, from the beginning, has a plan for your life. So to find that plan for your life, you must find God. When you find God, you will know the path for your life.
For you to forgive someone who has hurt you?
How easy is it?
What are some tips, a person can apply to improve their public speaking skills?
We all have personality lazy somewhere around us.
In my mind, whenever I'm invited for a public speaking event, I don't like to put a lot of, accessories or too many colors.
What are the major things to look out when choosing a school for a child?
Another cheesy conversation starter is, men do this a lot. Men look familiar. Have we met before? No. We met in
Nobody's buying that line again.
No, we don't. We don't buy it anymore.
Save a Life is a non-profit organization that has taken the front line in transforming lives in the entire country. So far, we have transformed the life of over 100,000 people through our programs, which include medical support, youth empowerment, street family program, feeding program, and climate change. Join us today as we transform lives. As we always say, service to humanity is service to God. Save a life, transforming lives.
Do you need a dose of hope? If so, you are in the right place. We think of ourselves around here as hope dealers, delivering truth, power, and inspiration to hearts and minds all over the world. If nothing else has worked for you, why not give the God thing a try? For it's in the presence of God that you'll find everything that you need Amen.
Taarifa zinapochipuka na kutufikia papa hapa kwenye makao makuu ya chumba cha habari cha runinga ya Look Up, kwenye taifa, kwenye serikali, kwenye bunge, tunajitosa hadi kwenye sauti ya wenyeji ili kupata tu maoni ya wenyeji kuhusu masuala haya yanayochipuka.
Maana hii kitu inaenda kuumiza Mkenya kwa tax.
Hakuna kitu tunafurahia. Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Sisi tunaumia, si ati tunaumia ile ya kiukweli. Juu maisha ni ngumu.
Na bila shaka tunapata maoni yao ili sauti yao ipate kusikika. Na watasema hili, waseme lile, watasema hiki, na waseme kile, almuradi sauti yao ipate taa.
Mambo ya mafuta tena imekuwa ni changamoto zaidi kwa kila mtu wa bodaboda.
Uchumi ikikuwa stable, tunaamini mambo itakuwa sawa sawa.
Kwanza alikuwa na ria wasa wa boda, mama mboga nini. Hao sasa ndio wamefinywa zaidi mazuri.
Mtazamaji, hii ni bunge la wenyeji.
How easy is it for you to forgive someone who has hurt you? How easy is it? What are some tips, a person can apply to improve their public speaking skills?
We all have personality lazy somewhere around us.
In my mind, whenever I'm invited for a public speaking event, I don't like to put a lot of, accessories or too many colors.
What are the major things to look out when choosing a school for a child?
Another cheesy conversation starter is, men do this a lot. They look familiar. Have we met before? No. We met in
Nobody's buying that line again.
No, we don't. We don't buy it anymore.
I recall the doctor telling me that day, he said, Sarah, I'm sorry about what happened to you, but you see, life happens. You would have to learn to work with your hands, depend on your hands more.
And today, if you're going through anything that you do not understand, just call on this name, Jesus, and he will save you.
I realized I loved music when I was about 7 or 8. I used to puff my cheeks and play the 12-bar blues. Like I'd walk around the house doing like...
Why do we need the Holy Spirit?
I mean, if you look at what Jesus said when he was leaving, he said he's going and that he will send the Holy Spirit as our helper.
So God knows everything since the end, from the beginning, has a plan for your life. So to find that plan for your life, you must find God. When you find God, you will know the path for your life.
Do you need a dose of hope? If so, you are in the right place. We think of ourselves around here as hope dealers, delivering truth, power, and inspiration to hearts and minds all over the world. If nothing else has worked for you, why not give the God thing a try? For it's in the presence of God that you'll find everything that you need. Amen.
Taarifa zinapochipuka na kutufikia papa hapa kwenye makao makuu ya chumba cha habari cha runinga ya Look Up, kwenye taifa, kwenye serikali, kwenye bunge, tunajitosa hadi kwenye sauti ya wenyeji ili kupata tu maoni ya wenyeji kuhusu masuala haya yanayochipuka.
Maana hii kitu inaenda kuumiza Mkenya kwa tax.
Hakuna kitu tunafurahia. Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Sisi tunaumia, si ati tunaumia ile ya kiukweli. Juu maisha ni ngumu.
na bila shaka tunapata maoni yao ili sauti yao ipate kusikika, na watasema hili waseme lile, watasema hiki na waseme kile, almuradi sauti yao ipate taa.
Mambo ya mafuta tena imekuwa ni changamoto zaidi kwa kila mtu wa bodaboda.
Uchumi ikikuwa stable, tunaamini mambo itakuwa sawa sawa.
Kwanza liko na ria wase wa boda, mama mboga nini. Hao sasa ndio wamefinywa zaidi man.
Mpenzi mtazamaji, hii ni bunge la wenyeji.
I recall the doctor telling me that day, he said, Sarah, I'm sorry about what happened to you, but you see, life happens. You would have to learn to work with your hands, depend on your hands more.
And today, if you're going through anything that you do not understand, just call on this name, Jesus, and he will save you.
I realized I loved music when I was about 7 or 8. I used to puff my cheeks and play the 12-bar blues. Like I'd walk around the house doing like...
Why do we need the Holy Spirit?
I mean, if you look at what Jesus said when he was leaving, he said he is going and that he will send the Holy Spirit as our helper.
So God knows everything since the end, from the beginning, has a plan for your life. So to find that plan for your life, you must find God. When you find God, you will know the path for your life.
Do you need a dose of hope? If so, you are in the right place. We think of ourselves around here as hope dealers, delivering truth, power, and inspiration to hearts and minds all over the world. If nothing else has worked for you, why not give the God thing a try? For it's in the presence of God that you'll find everything that you need. Amen.
For you to forgive someone who has hurt you?
How easy is it?
What are some tips, a person can apply to improve their public speaking skills?
We all have personality lazy somewhere around us.
In my mind, whenever I'm invited for a public speaking event, I don't like to put a lot of, accessories or too many colors.
What are the major things to look out when choosing a school for a child?
Another cheesy conversation starter is, men do this a lot. They look familiar. Have we met before? No. We met in
Nobody's buying that line again.
No, we don't. We don't buy it anymore.
I recall the doctor telling me that day, he said, Sarah, I'm sorry about what happened to you, but you see, life happens. You would have to learn to work with your hands, depend on your hands more.
And today, if you're going through anything that you do not understand, just call on this name, Jesus, and he will save you.
I realized I loved music when I was about 7 or 8. I used to puff my cheeks and play the 12-bar blues. Like I'd walk around the house doing like...
Why do we need the Holy Spirit?
I mean, if you look at what Jesus said when he was leaving, he said he is going and that he will send the Holy Spirit as our helper.
So God knows everything since the end, from the beginning, has a plan for your life. So to find that plan for your life, you must find God. When you find God, you will know the path for your life.
Taarifa zinapochipuka na kutufikia papa hapa kwenye makao makuu ya chumba cha habari cha runinga ya Lookup, kwenye taifa, kwenye serikali, kwenye bunge, tunajitosa hadi kwenye sauti ya wenyeji ili kupata tu maoni ya wenyeji kuhusu masuala haya yanayochipuka.
maana hii kitu inaenda kuumiza Mkenya kwa tax.
Hakuna kitu tunafurahia. Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Sisi tunaumia, si ati tunaumia ile ya kiukweli. Juu maisha ni ngumu.
Na bila shaka tunapata maoni yao ili sauti yao ipate kusikika. Na watasema hili, waseme lile, watasema hiki na waseme kile, almuradi sauti yao ipate taa.
Mambo ya mafuta tena imekuwa ni changamoto zaidi kwa kila mtu wa bodaboda.
Uchumi ikikuwa stable, tunaamini mambo itakuwa sawa sawa.
Kwanza liko na ria wa boda, mama mboga nini. Hao sasa ndio wamefinywa zaidi mazuri.
Mpenzi mtazamaji, hii ni bunge la wenyeji.
Welcome back to the Morning Drift. We do apologize for that tiny little delay. We were trying to solve a couple of technical issues in the studio, but it's a good thing we're good. Let's then jump into our conversation this morning. The question that we did ask is one term versus two term. Where do the Kenyan youth belong? That's the question that we really have to get out. Because even as from this morning, our conversations have been around how the two political sides in the country are now taking shape. We do have news that indeed the forgotten Azimio la Umoja coalition looks as if it's getting back together with the latest move from our former president, Uhuru Kenyatta, to go into meetings with Kalonzo Musyoka and the united opposition to form, or in a way, to form a stronger opposition to take on one president, William Samoei Ruto, in the 2027 general elections. That's the question. But then, even before we get there, let's just look at exactly what we have on the table this morning in terms of what you should know in terms of numbers from 2022 in the Kenyan youth perspective. 14 million Kenyans went to the ballot to vote and select leaders in 2022. Out of this, 22 million Kenyans were on the IEBC voter register. But then when you break down those numbers, you're going to find that Kenyans from the age of 25 and above who registered to vote were 14 million. 8 million Kenyans were below the age of 35 years old, meaning that only 8 million young people either registered to vote or took a voter's card with the intention to go right ahead and vote. So when you break those numbers, then you will see that even those who ended up then voting, it's for you and I to decide. That number is quite small, isn't it? Because if you have a sample size of just 14 million, and when you look at the ratio 14 to 8, then you will see that majority of young people then didn't turn out to vote in the 2022 general elections. All right, joining us this morning then to look into this particular issue. It's a good thing that we're talking about it this.
Nimesikia venye umechambua mpira pia. So I am good. I thank God that I'm here again this morning. Yeah. Mbebe kikombe bana. Mbebe kikombe bana.
I'm doing good. Happy to be here. Happy to be back.
That's it.
Yes.
All right, let's jump into this conversation. So yeah, I want to start with you. It's clear. I mean, every time we go into an election in this country from time immemorial, it's either we have side A or side B, regardless of how many parties that we carry into the general
Thank you, Simba. I think that's a question that I may not be in a position to answer at first. I'm from ODM party, and one of the delegate and aspirant in the ODM youth leadership as we are trying to put things together in the party. And where we are as a political party, and from what we see as young people in the ODM party, we have the strong feeling that there's nothing still barring ODM party fielding a candidate come 2027. There's nothing barring ODM as a political party being part of the presidency that will be there in 2027. So asking us or asking me whether we are in 1 term or 2 term, to me I think that shouldn't be the question. The question should be, we have the current regime, as they are going to seek the re-election, we from the ODM party, following even our SG's last night's interview, it was very clear that we will have to cross-check and also analyze on the scorecard on what they have done, not only on the 10-point agenda and the NADCO report that we have together with the UD and Kenya Kwanza government, but even the promised manifesto that they gave the country. We'll be very pragmatic, we'll be very open, we'll be very generous to them. But they offer for us the scorecard and what they have done. Before maybe us going into more signed or a clear signed a coalition agreement with the UD and Kenya Kwanza government, we from the ODM party, we are seeing it differently from the Youth League perspective. Yes. There's the giant big political party in the country that today we are going to election without fielding a presidential candidate. But again, Simba, on the same breath, there's nothing again that will bar ODM from maybe even having a post-election agreement with the parties that will be there then. But again, on the same breath, there's nothing barring ODM forcing Kenya in 2027 for a rerun if we run for presidency. So that's, we can't conclusively say that we must just have a pre-election agreement and coalition agreement with the UDA or any other interested party that we may be sharing values with. That's the position that we take. But when we say 1 term, 2 term, the ODM term should be development term, and these are pro-people party. Let us have a term on the development record of all the potential presidential candidates. Yes. With Kalonzo, as they are putting it, if it is the incumbent Dr. William Samoei Ruto, then let us see and analyze what they have done for the country and how we can take our country forward. The Canaan that we talked about was on development. As they say that we do not Peter Singapore, they must show us why are we going to pass through Singapore to Canaan? Why can't we just go to Canaan direct on development agenda and program that we have? We from the ODM party, we had a manifesto. We had that it before as a political party in 2007. We had it in COD. We had it in NASA. Then we had a manifesto during Azimio. This should be the score. This should be the blueprint on our engagement. But now, narrowing the conversation to either 2 term or 1 term, I think it will be so unfair to this young political party that we must just join a chorus without knowing the soloist and maybe the intention of the song as well.
Pretty much. Well, yeah, I'll be coming to you because I've got direct questions that I'm going to ask you. Maybe I asked the wrong question this morning, because then the question that I should have asked is, do you support President Dr. William Ruto for the 2nd term in office? I'll be coming to you on that. But let me also pick your sentiments on this one as well. With the young people in this country, going by what we've seen all the way from 2024, when there was a Gen Z protest in the country that looked like a young movement, a young people movement in the country, which up to now, by the way, went and sort of got subdued by how the government reacted to those protests. What do you think they are? Are they in the 1-term movement or in the 2-term movement? Do the young people of this country support Dr. President William Ruto for a 2nd term in office?
Oh, thank you. You see, the young people are a very important component of our elections.
Yes.
And they have the power to decide what happens in this country. But they don't know how to use the power that they have to make that decision take place. You've given a very good example that GNCs went on the streets in 2024, made a very big impact. President saw it, President reacted, GNCs were called, you guys come, let's have a discussion. they didn't show up, right? We did the first thing right, we went to the streets. The government hit the call. Yes. The government shut down everything. The cabinet was disbanded. There was cutting offices, people who were employed. Then when they were called, guys, come, we sit down. These things that you are doing in the streets, we have a structured kind of a discussion. They were not there. They forgot that as much as we go to the streets, one thing that the late Raila Odinga taught us as democratic people, that as much as we express ourselves in the streets, there must be time for a discussion of the law to implement and to raise the issues that we are with in the streets. Because if we don't have a structured sit down and have a discussion, it will not happen. That is what happened. In 2025, some other issues also came. Gencis were in the streets. What was the result? The result was some of the Gencis that were spearheading ended up in small political parties. The reason being, they were jobless by then. They were looking for jobs. They were looking for security. They were looking for funds. So they decided to win. They left other Gencis on the streets. So the Gencis that we have right now, if we can just go and check how many votes system looks at the Gencis as a potential fuel to 2027. When the people who are confused with the government, we can very easily shout, but we're not at the implementation level. We don't know how to execute what we want. So it will force Gencis, if they have to structure themselves, that is the way the Gencis can change this country. But in the current situation, Gencis, some of these parties, they will be called for some peanuts, for some let's be honest. You will hear funny names like, you will hear very funny stuff. At the local level, you are at a non-decision-making level, where you are forced to turn into a specific line of thought of the party, right? If someone tells today that it is Samuel that is defending this government with blood and sweat, you won't believe it. Right? And you see, people have said here, you see, even Baba in his plan for 2027, right? Gencis were in the plan. That means that Gencis don't have a plan. That is why people are involving Gencis in their plans. Even Gachagua was in that other side. They want to involve Gencis because they know that the Gencis has power. So if that is the case, why don't Gencis mobilize themselves? They register as voters. Pick one candidate, right? That is not sellable. People like Akinamora came here, people thought that things will move, collected money from people here, then definitely stepped down. You see, I can't proceed, blah, blah, blah. And you see, those are the people that Gencis were expecting to lead this. So as Gencis, we must restructure our thoughts. We must restructure our vision. We must restructure our plans and know that 2027, for us to take this one, it should be, our constitution requires us to be in a structured form. The only way to be in a presidential, a ballot paper as a presidential candidate, you must have a party. So who is the candidate? We must decide who is the candidate that is going to carry the flag for the Gencis. Because without that one, we are going to be misused in these parties, as you can see. Because as of now, we don't have any other party that relates with the Gencis that you can say that, okay, Simba is our candidate. We don't have. That means we can, what the current regime can do, how do we afford, not even accommodate, how do we afford the Gencis in our system? That opposition peer, how do we afford the Gencis in our, because it means the Gencis has a price. And it can be paid because they don't have jobs, they are sleeping hungry, they wake up in the morning, they're on Twitter, they're complaining, they're not doing something substantive to change their person. So anywhere that there is a shillings, they will always run to go there. So at the Gencis, we should know our value and know that we don't have a price We can make a decision. We don't need money to campaign. We just need to put our house in order, have one GZ, then wake up one morning, register to vote as maybe. If GZs can register as around, because the research has it that we have almost 15 million unregistered youth in this town that wakes up in the morning, goes to Twitter, say, Simba, we don't like you, or this government. So, and you see they are suffering where they are. If we can use that energy and register and mobilize, and we say that we want this particular person to lead us, and because they are very self-centered, the reason why they didn't proceed by that time, GZ started a very funny and useless kind of a backward kind of a discussion of we are faceless, we are nameless.
And by the way, that's exactly, those are the thoughts that I wanted to pick. It's a good thing you're intimating on it. Just hold your thoughts right there, because that's the other part of this conversation that I wanted to touch on. The whole sense of we are tribeless, we are nameless, we are faceless, we push our agenda the way we want it. I'll be coming to you on that. Oh yeah, but let me go back to the same question that I asked you, and I want you to react to what Mondi has presented right there, because you hear him saying, guys, you are not at a decision-making position, even within the ODM Youth League, where you rightly belong. You are not at a decision-making position. That's why, Oye, this morning, I rightly asked you personally, not as the ODM Youth League, do you support President Dr. William Ruto for a second term in office? I need an answer, Oye. I've not had it.
Political party, the gentleman, I don't know whether it's belonging to any political party, castigating any political parties. The engines that run a nation where policies are being made and the tables that's talking about are within the political parties. The Gen Z is quoting, I don't know where he's getting it, that they are getting misused. Some of us were in these political parties even before the Gen Z protest. We have been students of Raila Amolo Odinga even then. We have, like ODM Youth League is saying, it's a funny name. This is something that has been in existence for the longest time when the party was conceptualized in 2007. So you can't come here quoting that maybe ODM Youth League is now a funny name. But we have funny individuals, yes. That is okay. Someone like Kasum Makuri is quoting around here. It's okay. He joined us the other day. We appreciate what he has been doing. But he's not giving a collective position of the ODM Youth League. He's not a leader in the ODM Youth League. That is one. Yes. He's not even a delegate in the ODM Youth League. That is two. So the gentleman is giving his personal views and position, but not the views and position of the league. That league as leadership and is properly structured from the polling station. He has also said that Gen Zs or the young people in the political parties are not finding themselves on the table. Even if we were to have, as he put it, the Gen Z political party. And this is one thing that Raila Amolo Odinga was telling us. We are not going into the election and build a country against this generation and against this generation. We must find a way of working together as a people of Kenya. That's the same way I think maybe serving his dad or serving a son. If your son overgrows, he won't kick you out of home, that now dad, you are too old, I can now take charge of the home. You can find a way of working together, and that's one thing we believe in from the ODM party. We have a structured leadership, and there's a representation of the young people in the structure of the party that should be on that table, and that's where we are. So it's not that all young people are locked out, but we have a collective voice, and there's individual representing that voice on the tables. Young people need to find themselves on these political parties. Yes. He said we flopped on the Gen Z protest and so on. That was not structured engagement. That's why it was very difficult for the government on the state of the day to engage young people, because who are you going to engage? These people were, as you put it, were leaderless. That should come out very clear on my brother. Gen Z shouldn't, we can't say that Gen Z are going to our presidential candidate. We also have young people who are very progressive, and I think I've mentioned one of them here. They have not all young people are progressive, and not all young people believe strongly in building a cohesive nation and country together. Some think of themselves, and as he put it, even those who are old, they were there before. We had the Ford Young Tusk in the mid 90s and early 90s. We are the young people in Kanu then. These people have grown. Even we today, year in year, we are not going to be the Gen Zs forever. And again, we are not going to use age, Elijah, as a political transaction. It will be very bad that we are going to coming on a TV this morning now to use a Gen Z as now a leverage for negotiation. That shouldn't be the case. Now coming to your question, that am I going to, at personal level, am I going to support Dr. William Samoei Ruto? I'll be very wrong. Where I'm sitting here, I'm not talking as individual. There are a multitude of young people who believe in this voice in this studio this morning. Yes. If I'm going to represent them, I'll be very wrong. So we have a collective. We have a collective position.
That's an answer you can give me.
I'm giving you it here.
Yes.
We have a collective position as young people in the Orange Political Party, ODM, that we will sit down and also submit our views and our thoughts on the direction that we think the party should take. Not me as Jared Oye, but there are people who strongly believe in me. There are those who believe in my leadership, that if I'm going to give my personal position without consulting, as we were taught by Raila Odinga that we must have a consultative leadership, they need to be very wrong this morning.
So whatever you're saying is that up to now, I mean, we're just 1 year into the general election. There's a lot even happening within ODM currently as it is. Let me just put it to you as well. Just take 2 minutes before I cross over to Omondi as well. I mean, look at what you, and I'm saying in quotes, young leadership within your party is saying. Edwin Sifuna has been on record saying that if I support William Ruto, then I'll step out of the party. And yesterday he was again on Citizen TV. He actually did say that I will vote for any other person other than William Ruto. Look at the likes of Babu Wino. Look at the likes of Winnie Odinga, who are also within a particular party, this so-called young leadership. They're saying, look here, I mean, we are not going to support William Ruto. We as a party, we are the young people in this country. We need to go out and stake our leadership in this party. But then, Oye, and I'm asking you, represent the ODM Youth League. Are we going to assume that they're all seated waiting to be told what to do?
To be told.
2 minutes.
We are consulting young voices, young people in this political party. I've told you, Simba, this party is started from the polling station. Yes. You can't just decide and tell them that we now are going to support Dr. William Samoei Ruto or Kalonzo or who and so on. That is one. Number two.
A movement begins earlier.
Exactly. So, on all the coalition that you have built, Simba, on all the coalition that you have built as ODM party, we have built this.
Which side are you inclined to? Oh yeah.
I'm inclined to ODM side, the party side. You have touched on the young voices, of the progressive voices. Now, not only young people who are progressive in the ODM party. We have Senior Councillor Orengo. We have Ruth Odinga. We have now Sifuna. We have Winnie. They have also been giving their thoughts, not on age. This is something I think we need to rub off. It's not on the age. It's on the ideology and the position that someone believes in and the principles that someone believes in.
But clearly, and I'm sorry to cut you short, but clearly you can see that within your party there are leaders who've already taken a position. It's already clear, and that's why we have this topic this morning. But if you look at some of your leaders, some are saying it's going to be 2 terms. We've already started those negotiations, and the president is already given a green light. Let's begin those negotiations. Some within your party are saying, no. There are no negotiations. We're going to go and they're not going to support William Ruto in the next general election. Which begs the question, you as a youth who are watching this saga, where do you belong? Are you waiting? What are you waiting for?
The better position, not a neutral position, is ODM fielding a presidential candidate come 2027. We are neither on 2-term, William Ruto. We should neither be on the 1 term of Gachagua. We have other presidential candidates as well. We have Maraga. We have there's so many who are trying to move around. There's nothing barring this structured political party, ODM, with a properly well put leadership to field a presidential candidate. Why are we going to run on other people's chorus without understanding what Solosi is saying?
Pretty much. I'll be coming to you because that's exactly where it begins. Because ODM essentially fielding a presidential candidate means that they belong to the 1 term. And I do not know whether you're going to support that move, if that's the direction that you're...
Where do we get these terms? You see, Simba, we are disagreeing with you people. You are giving us a narrative that will be forcing us to buy. ODM, if you're going to field a presidential candidate, we will have. Simba, let me say this. We will have, I think I told you here, a development term. So we're singing 1 term, 2 term. Why are you people giving us a narrative to buy by force? Why can't you allow us, we from the ODM, as we feel, from the ODM, we have a strong feeling that we are in good position today to field a presidential candidate for this country.
But if you failed it, you're already in the 1 term conversation, Are we not getting you this morning? I'll be giving you time to elaborate on what you mean then. Omondi, it's a good thing that Oye is speaking about it, and I will tell you exactly what it is. I mean, time memorial, elections have shown us in this country, whether you have a youth party, whether you have a strong political party in this country, that there are going to be two sides. There's always two sides in the Kenyan elections. Just before I went back to here, you spoke to me about the Kenyan youth. We saw a very strong movement in 2024, where you would say unilaterally, youth had already made a decision. They were not taking decisions that were made to them by the government. They started from the budget 2024. And if you saw the way it went, you couldn't sit back and guess where the thoughts, the minds of the Kenyan people or the Kenyan youth were. They were against the government of the day. In fact, that protest, as we saw, it became a bit dangerous because now they said, we want Ruto out of government. It went to that level that you couldn't second guess what they wanted. They said this leadership has failed, and it's failed from the presidency, we want him out. But then you said why it failed is it got into a tribalist, leaderless conversation. But then on Monday, somebody's going to ask you this question. Did it fail, or it failed to pick up momentum in the sense of the same people were calling for dialogue or for conversations or tell us what you want are the same people that we don't want to speak to? It's like, I want you out of this building, and then you come and tell me, okay, come and tell me why you don't want me out of this building. I will not come and speak to you. Could you help us understand?
Let me remind my brother of one thing.
Yes.
Is that the reason why you see he's struggling to explain the ODM, because ODM is almost at the Langata Cemetery. People are around Langata Road, heading to Langata Cemetery. And the burial is about to take place. That's why if you ask him, which side are you, it's become very difficult for him to narrow down.
Yes.
It's very unfortunate that we can have youths who don't believe that youths can lead this country. That there is another youth that telling a youth this morning that someone can come on TV and say that we want to take the leadership into a cocoon of youths or the Gen Zs, that you see we can't package people into a certain, it's not possible. He can't be the president, you can't be the president, I can't be the president, so long as we are structured. Our constitution gives us proper ways on how to vie to become the Kenyan president, is through our political party. If you see the youth league that we are talking about,
yes,
it did start today. It started when the ODM was formed. What is the impact of the youth league? Well, he's a youth league member.
The impact of the youth league.
He's a youth leader. He's a youth league member, right? Since the ODM started, did you hear any youth league being proposed even to be one of the presidential candidates in the party? No. So what's the impact? It means we've taken the youths, accommodated them into a youth league kind of a thing, just to manage them. But they are not coming, they can't come out as presidential candidates. And that's even him where he is. For the people that he has mentioned that can be a presidential candidate in the party, he can't mention himself because he don't feel he doesn't deserve to be the president in that party, because he thinks that there are some other people in the party, like Akina James Orengo, the Kisumu women rep, and our Honorable Wino. That's the him should be thinking that I can be a presidential candidate from the party, right? From that point, now we can move forward as Gen Z. The moment we think that other people are better than us, that's where there is a problem. Number two, come to your question. All over the world, politics, the way it is structured, it narrows down. Even if you go to the US, it narrows down to two parties. If you go to Tanzania, narrows down to two parties.
Yes.
Go to Uganda, narrows down to two parties. These parties, it's more of a collection, it's more of a coalition. There is no party that wins an election in this country without merging with other parties, trying to create maybe a coalition or something on how it can move forward. And that is what parties are doing now. That's why we are having a united opposition. That's why we are having an Azimio, we are having an UDA, an ODM kind of a pact. It will be very unfortunate for people not, from ODM, for them not to acknowledge what Baba stood for during that time. Before Baba's death, Baba did two very important speeches. When he was in Homa Bay at the burial of Dr. Asia, I think her cousin, he really defended this government. And he said, people who are saying 2 term and 1 term, what will it help us with? Let's focus on the development. When the delegates meeting, I think, was called here on the preparation for ODM as 20, Baba asked a very simple question. Who told you that ODM is not going to fill a presidential candidate? Right now, as we speak, there is a fraction that thinks that we want to go with what Baba. In fact, I can remember Junaid saying, if you want to know anything about broad-based, go to Baba's speech. I don't know if you remember that one. If you want to know about the 2027, go to Baba's speech. That's what they said. It means Baba was the law of the ODM. If he says right, it is right. Right now, ODM does not have such kind of a person that can bring the house under one voice. That's why we are having 2 fractions. People who think they support the government, people who, because the people like Akina Juna, even the party leader not even once, even Juzi, the other day in Kisumu, he was very busy saying, we are with you, this is a 2 term. It means ODM has sat down and realized that it is true. They don't have a presidential candidate amongst them that can face Ruto for 2027. Yes. The candidate that they had died, and that was Baba, Raila, Amolo, Odinga. Today, even these people that have been mentioned here in the party, they can't go anywhere. If they had been appointed, even be given power, the party to lead and to run against Ruto, they can't win anything. If Baba didn't, they can't. These are the people that we see that are mentioned here. Even Babu can't. Babu is a very good politician that is growing to become a better person. That he's on a progressive level. Him going for the presidency or this party leader thing will definitely fish him politically. The way he's progressing, he's in a better line of politics to make him a better person tomorrow. But he will be a very good presidential candidate. But for 2032, but not 2027, because there's a lot to be dealt with down here. And what we need to know, that presidency, for you to go to the presidential seat, it is not a chance play the way people are mentioning it here. I was hearing other candidates like Akinama, Elido Walo saying that what's your worth at 1 billion. Do you know what 1 billion takes in an election? Cannot even take half a day. It needs funds. That's why people are coming together. So the reason why we are voting for youth to take over this government, it is because we believe that GSs or youths has a good number that if they can register and be in a position to implement it, they can change the Kenyan dynamics, political dynamics completely. Yes. Only if they believe in themselves, because they are the solution. We can say that even, you see, the other demonstrations were very impactful in terms of what the decision that the government took. The reason why we're saying that it didn't meet its end goal where we wanted to meet it, because if we wanted youth to be in this government, then that was the time to have that discussion with this government. How do we move forward? Because you can't lead from the streets. We don't want you, true, well, everyone will say it is 1 term, we don't care, the president should go. Then the question is, who is going to remove that person from that seat? That becomes an issue. Number 2, even that time when people are called to come on the table and they said, we don't want to have a discussion with you, it's you that we don't like. But what is the procedure of removing? We know the procedure. We can collect signatures here in Kenya and follow the constitution and remove them. But you see, we are not ready. We are not ready. So we as Kenyans, more specifically youths, we must come back to our senses and activate the power that we have and move it towards execution of taking this country come 2027. So that even if we are joining other coalitions, yes, it is the UDA that will be looking for a youth party to merge with them having a presidential candidate. It is the united opposition that will be looking for a youth party to merge with them having a presidential candidate. But the way it stands as of now, we must have 2 sides. That's a must, because in all the, like a very good percentage over the world, it will always be a two horse race. But now you cannot, as a GZ or as a youth, you can't join a party to discuss from inside. You must have a party for you to have a voice.
Pretty much. Oh yeah. Even before you respond to Modi's presentation right there, I will just put this across to you, that even within ODM, let me dial it back so that I make this question a bit clear to you so you can explain it to us. But within the ODM Youth League, we aren't seeing them coming out to speak clearly on what their position is in 2027. But all we are seeing, even within the youth that are within ODM, is that they are following the tune of the party. And I'm sorry, I know you don't like me mentioning this, but every time Makure speaks, Makure is speaking more vocally than the ODM Youth League. Because every time he speaks, he says, sisi tuko na party leader Oburu Odinga, na Oburu Odinga mali anatupeleka ndio tunaenda. Is it good to say that if you go back to the Gen Z protest in 2024, that the true faith of the Kenyan youth right now is to start their own agenda? That the true sense of the Kenyan youth right now would be not in this one-term versus two-term conversations. That if you truly ask them, like what Omondi is saying this morning, will be like, I wish you could get a presidential candidate and build a presidential candidate up there. Because right now, as it stands, you're confirming it. Yes. You're waiting for the party to make a decision.
Simba, we're not waiting for the party to make a decision. I think ODM Youth League is autonomous in decision making,
yes,
semi-autonomous in its operations.
That's it.
If I bring the semi-autonomous on the ODM operation, the Youth League and the mainstream, it must come out very clear. As we are sitting here, the ODM Youth League is planning to have our NDC.
That's it.
That is one. Number two, I think also need to come clear as you put it. I've said this time and again. The individual we are mentioning is not part of the ODM Youth League. I think it's running in some lobby group, the broad-based youth, something like that. It's not in the structure of the ODM party. So he can just speak and just make noise. It's a busy, but let him do his things. But the ODM Youth League will give its position. And our position, I think, from this point of view, are very keen. We are saying that the ODM is a party that is capable and have capable leaders, yes, to field a presidential candidate come 2027. My brother here was saying that that ODM is dying. I don't know even his party. He has not even mentioned his party. He has been mentioning ODM. So ODM, my brother, maybe just to let you know, ODM has its structure and strong and strength in all the orange zones. We have not seen any ground from the coastal part of Kenya to the part of Rift Valley, that is Turkana, we have Narok, we have Kajiado. We have not seen our ground in Western Kenya. We are still holding Nyanza very strongly. And this one was seen even in the latest by-elections, that ODM grounds are still intact. My brother here, I want to also tell you that this party is not going to die anytime soon as you think. If it will die, we will have to kill so many ODMers. Because this is a party that has a leadership. Let me repeat this again. This is a party that has a leadership.
Who is your party leader?
From the polling station, the polling unit, yes, to the national level. So you can't say that that a giant party structured with leadership in the polling station is going to die. This is not just like any other small political parties being put together. Before you ask me your party, I don't know your party. So the party leader is very clear that we have Dr. Buru Oginga Odinga as the party leader. We don't have two party leaders in the ODM party. It is one person, and that is the Daktari Senator, Dr. Buru Oginga Odinga. We may sometimes maybe question and debate how he came into power, but as he was putting it yesterday, he came in through the neck, but can only be confirmed and be legitimized in the NDC. And the reason why we haven't had the NDC, maybe you don't know, let me just educate you, is because we haven't finished some of the elections in our counties, Nairobi being one of them, Kisumu and Omabay. There are around 4 counties. Once we are done with the county elections, then there's nothing barring the ODM leadership from calling the NDC to confirm and legitimize the leadership of the current leaders in the Orange Movement Party. So that is where we are. I think this is something that is also talking about on the PG that we had at Manzoni in Machakos. When Raila Amolo Odinga said there's nothing, and who told you that ODM will not field a presidential candidate? And that's the position that the Youth League is also giving. There's nothing barring ODM party from fielding a presidential candidate come 2027. And that's the question that Raila asked the parliamentary group, yeah, ODM, when he went to the burial of Asio, and said that we have a working relationship with the UDA party. Then Raila had done what we are calling the tactical compromise to save the situation and the country. We had seen with the Gen Z protests on the street, power was slipping off from the structured democratic processes of getting power. So we have to compromise and get the country intact and have a Kenya first before maybe ODM, UDA, DCP and these other parties in the country. I think that's the position. Raila was a patriot, and we from the ODM party, the patriotism that the vision bearer had, we still hold it so dear to us. That's one of the legacy we must live in, to live on the steps and the principles that Raila Amolo Odinga himself believed in eminently.
That's it. But I want you to take 45 seconds to answer this question, because I want to cross over to Omondi as well to respond. Just make it clear for any other person who's listening this morning. It looks as if the people are championing for young voices within ODM, are the likes of Sifuna, the likes of Winnie, and the likes of Babu Wino. And all of them have been clear, oh yeah. I mean, for you and I know where they stand. They've come out clearly to say, don't count us in. In that conversation for supporting President Dr. William Ruto in 2027 general elections, we're not in it. Let's empower our party, let's empower young leadership within this party. We are capable of fielding our presidential candidate and moving all the way to the final running for the 2027 general elections. So you, as a young leader within ODM, do you support the likes of Winnie, the likes of Sifuna, the likes of Babu Wino? Because that clearly then puts you within the one-term movement conversation, or yeah?
I think that is a progressive, a voice of continuity. And that's the same thing I'm saying. Maybe I'm just saying it differently, that ODM is going to fail at presidential candidate. You know, when you say one term, many people perceive and think that you are supporting maybe Gashagu or Kalonzo and so on. The thing that we are saying, that ODM is going to fail at presidential candidate.
Yes.
And what Winnie says,
yes,
what Sifuna says, yes, what Orengo says, yes, what Ruth Odinga says is the voice of a continuity and progressive in the ODM party. That's it. That's one term. If that's what we call one term, then it's one term.
Let's make it clear. I mean, one term essentially means that any conversation to do with President Dr. William Ruto, we are not supporting. That's what it means. Let's make it clear. Oh yeah. That any other person who comes in and tells us about getting Ruto in office in the second term, we are not there. But any other person who comes in and says we got to get Ruto out of office so that he goes for one term, that's a conversation that you want to entertain.
Simba, I think when you followed Kazi, that is Winnie Odinga's conversation, there's a point he said we were not against us getting into coalition with other political parties, and other political parties including UDA. But we were questioning the process and the rush into getting into this conversation and coalition agreement. Yes. These are some of the processes that makes us to feel that if we can't get it right in the process of getting into coalition, then the best option is us having our own at the ballot. Again, I think I've said it here again and again, that there's nothing that will bar ODM from having a post-election agreement and coalition with any of the parties then after 2027.
Oh yeah, there's a clearer question that's coming as well, because some of your leaders are making these direct submissions this morning. You'll be helping us understand exactly what they mean then. Omondi, let's move away from this and see exactly what these bigger political parties in the country are doing to try and woo the young people into either the one-term or two-term conversation. I'll begin with President Dr. William Ruto. He's moving across the country. He doesn't have to do it in the Nyota Fund launching projects, it doesn't have to do it, but then is taking it as an opportunity to go in and meet the young people and speak to them directly and tell them, look here, you're part and parcel of my government. So I'm giving you 50,000 shillings. I'm educating you from the Nyota Fund programs for you to be able to also, improve yourself economically. And that is an initiative for me personally, like I promised you in my campaign agenda. Do you think it's enough for you to say that maybe the president, through his rallies across the country, has been able to convince a couple of young people to be in his bandwagon?
Not possible. It's not possible because you see, that is what the president promised youth in their manifesto.
That's it.
When they were coming to power. The two protests surely indicates that the youth are dissatisfied with what was promised by this government, because they thought that this government is a mama mboga government, is a normal mtu wa kawaida government. But now you see that is not the case. Their situation has not changed. What the president didn't think about, he overpromised these young youths that he will give them jobs. He forgot that he's not in the place or in the position of this government to employ youths or to maybe try to accommodate youths in terms of what they should do. What the government should do is that government should create workable policies to enable youths to create jobs for themselves, for the youths to be able to pay taxes. If you look at the Nyota Fund is something that will pay back. But it's not the money from the government, it's more of a loan. It's heartbreaking to see the president take that opportunity, instead of thinking on how to better the lives of other youths, to move from county to county, launching the same program, that he could even send any other CS for the sports or even culture or even for the youths or even for trade to go and do it. They are using that opportunity. And remember that all that plan is that money that they are using. That money could have been pumped to all youths to see how they can. Though it's a very good program for any other youth who wants to do business. You see, it's, as much as it is not the money from the government misusing the opportunity to sell their agenda. But it's a very good resource that youth should run. This is money that will pay as a country. I don't think if there is any other person that should fear applying for the same funds as a group so that they can develop themselves, they depend on themselves. But that one is not one of the ways that Daktari promised Kenyans or promised youth that I will try and create job opportunities for you. He should think on how to, because remember right now, as much as he's on the other side, he's the president of this country. Both the opposition and people are in government, all of them look at him as the president. He has a duty of care and responsibility to ensure that our needs are met as the president of this country. Because when you are voted as the president, we no longer view you as a party leader of any other party. You become the president for all of us until 5 years elapsed. So that's why we want to see him work and meet the requirements. Come 2027, we say we are not satisfied with what you did.
When it comes to the appeal, of the president now, as it stands, Omondi. Now we do know. I mean, elections it's how good you're looking, so we can try and vote for you. Do you think is claimed himself in the face of the Kenyan youth, saying that, well, I'm in tune with what you guys actually want, economic independence, and that's exactly what I'm doing currently.
Technically, the other day I was listening to a certain gentleman on a podcast about the youths and the content creators. If you hear what the government has done in terms of trying to help them, it has gone a very great level. They have been involved at a very high level. It means the president himself might have the good intentions to make this thing work, though times are tough, though the youths that are not employed are many. So the number that is satisfied is very high. But in terms of the progressive, in terms of the president, what he's doing, I think he's trying. Let's just give credit. The president is trying. The president is trying. Even if it was Raila Amolo Odinga that was given this chance when he was alive, he couldn't have done much that he has done. It can be true that this government maybe has failed, right? You see, let's give credit where it can be this true that the government has failed. But today you can close your eyes and open it and say, I can see a project there. Whether it is with the government, whether it's on alone, I can see a project there. I can see that. This is the first president in the history of this country to make an impact, a economic impact, in his first 2 years or in first 3 years. All this government have made impact in from the Kibaki government, second term, from Uhuru government, second time. We can't talk about maybe because Moi took that. So we need to give the president the credit for what he has done by now. Though it's not satisfactory as what he promised. It's only that what he promised was overboard. And the number of youths that we're having in the streets is a bit higher. So it will force us. Apologies.
Sorry, Mondi. I will let you have a glass of water. I'll be coming to you on that one as well. We have 5 minutes left for this conversation, and I would like to begin it like this. I mean, majority of youth went to the street, including some members of the ODM Youth League that you normally sit with by there and speak about the affairs of ODM. Fine, and we did see the handshake that they followed with President Ruto and one Raila Amolo Odinga. Yeah. Were they happy with what they saw? Is that what they wanted to see? For you then to say, hold on, they're also waiting. They haven't made a decision, that you haven't made a decision together with them. Is that it?
Thank you, Simba. I think I'm agreeing with my brother in his last sentiments. Nyota project is good, but we shouldn't forget that this is a World Bank project and loan, which of course will repay imminently. And I think when President promised better, he did it, better was a good idea. It's a good idea, the bottom-up economy. But the broken link are two. I wish he could have done this instead of building the houses and the rest. If President could have industrialized our economy, we couldn't have problem with the joblessness. We could have created more opportunities for young people and the citizens of this country. If the President could have modernized agriculture and also increase on our exports instead of imports, I think could have gotten it right. But where we are seeing projects, yes, but the Kenyans, the common mwananchi, is getting it very difficult to survive. We are just surviving. We are not even living. So the President ought to have done, there's no country that have a turn on the economy without industrialization and agriculture. I think those are some of the two pillars that you ought to have looked in depth. On the 2024 protest or the Gen Z protest in 2024. Before 2024, Simba, we shouldn't forget that we had 2023 finance bill protest, that from ODM, then with other parties in Azimio, the Sufuria economic protest, when our leaders and the Azimio brigades were on the street. And I think this came and build up to Gen Z 2024 protest. So the Gen Z protest didn't just spike from nowhere. It was a build-up that had happened. You have asked a very good question, that there are those who are in the street, but when the time for negotiation, they were not on the table. I think my brother said that when the Gen Zs were called to negotiate with the president, we were not having structure, we were not having leaders. So it was difficult to know who to engage, because we couldn't expect over hundreds of people to sit in a single hall and agree. So I think that's where we missed the mark, and we believe strongly, as he was putting it again, that if the Gen Zs are not going to get themselves structured by taking the vote, it will still be very difficult. We must be very intentional as young people of this country and be people of action and take charge, not just complaining without offering alternative solutions to our problems. So the Gen Zs, as you put it, who are part of the ODM and failed to be on the table, I've told you here that we have a collective voice. The people who go to the table, they're not going as individuals in most cases, because they represent many voices on those tables. Like from ODM Youth League, we have a leader. If he goes on a table, it's not going as individual. He carries a collective voice, that this is what the young people from the party feels and would like to be implemented and be part of the conversation. You remember when Baba Raila Amolo Odinga wanted what we were calling then the conclave, intergenerational conversation, which of course again the young people opposed it imminently without giving reason why they were opposing it. We wanted to know what is hailing our country from this generation to this generation, and how can we build the rank and find a common ground as a people of Kenya and move forward jointly together. Those who missed being on the table, again, as you put it, I think if you check on the NADCO and not the NADCO, but on the 10-point agenda, they were captured on what needs to be done, on the compensation, economic empowerment of young people and job creations and so on. The reasons why we were on the street were captured in the 10-point agenda, which of course I think is one of the things that SG spoke about yesterday eminently and gave a detailed explanation on what needs to be done, what have been done, and what have not been done. So the Gen Z and the young people's thoughts were captured and were presented on the tables when we were serving the country, Kenya.
That's it, pretty much. Monde, as we clear this conversation, I got a bit for you, this comment here. This is from a smart kid. And I'm going to just take 15 seconds to respond to it. It's a smart kid who's saying, look here, Kenyans in this country, Kenyan youth in this country do not matter. We do not matter because we don't vote, we don't pick, we don't vote, and the leadership knows it. So they do not care. Is that what it is?
That's true. what he's saying is that when we are needed to stand as the Kenyan youth, yes, we are not there. The decision making in this country, as provided for in the constitution, is made through the ballot. So if we are not voters, we can't be part of that. That's why the current regime does not care about them, because they will not do anything, because they are not voters and they will not wake up in the morning and go and vote. So we need to change our perspective towards 2027 elections.
Pretty much. I got this one from Emily responding to Sifuna, and this is oh yeah, just 15 seconds, because after we speak we'll be stepping out of the studio, and this is what Emily is saying. Young people should listen to Sifuna. It's time that they pick a young leader. Stop aligning themselves to these political parties, because all these political parties are just run on a model of psychophancy. All political leaders will still want to be relevant. Can we make a decision as young people and come up with our party and move away and represent and present our leaders? Is that what it is?
I'm agreeing with Emily.
Yes.
But again, running a political party as a political party is not a walk in the park. I think our brother Morara tried and failed. And again, we also have young people in the political party. We have a good young woman, Winnie Kazi Odinga. She's young, very progressive. We have SG Sifuna is young. We can find a way of working with them together. We have the likes of Baba Wino and so on. We embrace them and we believe that this generation that we have in the ODM party that have been made are going to break the ceiling and we're going to get it right.
Pretty much. Oof. You know what? I'll call you back again. Umodi, there's just a lot that we're talking about in as regards political parties and youth in this country. And guess what? Once we have that revised IEBC register, I mean, if we're still at around 9 million, then we still do not have a voice in this country. Gentlemen, thank you very much for coming by. Umodi, you're welcome back again, man.
Thank you.
Karibu sana. All right, take them back online to the time that you joined us this morning, and look up TV, of course, all your social media platforms. The hashtag is The Morning Drift. Those conversations will go online. Do you believe the youth are within this one-term versus two-term conversation? If not, where do they belong? I'll see you another day for another conversation. Good morning and goodbye. What the only thing that we lack, by the way, sit at Wezi.
We value your feedback and welcome your complaints about our programming and operations. Feel free to get in touch with us through 0700 893 542 or send us an email to info@lookuptv.co.ke.